From the get-go, living in that creepy old house was like stepping into a horror movie. We'd heard the stories. A man, his son, and their dog meeting their untimely end right under our roof. Yet nothing could prepare me for the nightmares that unfolded within those walls. The unease settled in the moment we moved in. I swear, on that very first night, as I lounged in bed watching TV, the lights flickered on and off. Now, these weren't your ordinary switches. We had those ancient wall sconces that needed a good twist to work. With my heart pounding, I bolted downstairs, seeking refuge in the living room. Then came the day when my friend Anya and I were chilling in the yard with my 2 cats. Out of nowhere, we spotted a man by this dilapidated old car, miles away from civilization. Our driveway stretched on forever, surrounded by nothing but grass, abandoned silos, and a creepy barn. When we called out to him, he just stood there, fixated on the car, sending shivers down our spines. We hightailed it back to the house, only to find the man had vanished into thin air. Soon after, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched upstairs, so I moved my room downstairs. But even there, the paranormal antics followed. I'll never forget the day a bat decided to join me for a gaming session. I kid you not, that winged intruder had me screaming for dear life as it swooped around my room. And then came the night of the sleepover with Anya. We were lounging in the living room when we heard it, knocking on the basement door, accompanied by an eerie voice demanding to be let in. We bolted towards my parents' room, the knocking following us like a sinister shadow. As my dad investigated, the knocking ceased, leaving us trembling in fear. But the terror didn't end there. Picture this. Me, wandering through the cornfields, when I start feeling like I'm being followed. When I turned around, a wolf emerged from the corn, eyeing me with an unsettling gaze. It was like something straight out of a nightmare, especially when I heard a growl coming from thin air beside me. And now, brace yourself for the most unbelievable part. One day, I'm in the yard petting Stockings, our black and white cat. Only, there's a twist. Stockings had been run over by my dad just days before. Yet there she was, purring and rubbing against me as if nothing had happened. It wasn't until years later that my dad confessed to burying her. But even then, we'd see her ghost prowling around the house, a haunting reminder of the horrors within. But that's not all. Toys moving on their own, phantom dog noises, and glimpses of the man and his son wandering the fields. It was like living in a nightmare that never ended. So, if you ever find yourself near an old abandoned house in Ohio, just remember, some nightmares are all too real. Hey there, folks. My name's Nikita, and let me tell you about my lifelong connection with the spirit world. Ever since I was a kid, I've been drawn to spirits. Sometimes, I can even see them with my own eyes, but more often, they visit me in my dreams. Now, gather around for a few spine-tingling tales of my dream encounters with the other side. Before I dive into the dream stories, let me share a little about my experiments with a pendulum. Yeah, I used to mess around with it during online classes instead of paying attention. Got to a point where it started saying it loved me, and let me tell you, that freaked me out enough to put a stop to our conversations. But that feeling of being watched? Yeah, that stuck with me ever since. Okay, now on to the dreams. The first one happened when my family and I were staying in a duplex while our house was being renovated. My bed was against the wall, and I always faced it when I slept. I remember this one night vividly. I opened my eyes, facing my room, when the closet door slowly creaked open. 3 shadowy figures crept out, crawling toward me. It wasn't sleep paralysis. I could move, but I shut my eyes tight, not wanting to see them. When I opened them again, it was 3 in the morning, and I was facing the wall once more. Next up, a dream from when we moved back to our house. I dreamt I was about to descend the stairs when a little girl blocked my path, warning me not to go down. Ignoring her, I continued, only to find a stick-like figure in my room. Then I woke up, experiencing sleep paralysis for the first time, with that same figure above me. To this day, I wonder what would have happened if I'd heeded the girl's warning. Now, for the scariest and most recent dream. I was in a crystal shop, doing my thing, when I felt something entering me, like I was being possessed. I fought against it, but it felt like I was losing control. Terrified, I struggled to tell my mom I loved her before I lost myself entirely. And finally, a waking experience. I woke up in my basement bunk bed, seeing my mom sitting at the foot of my bed. But when I spoke to her, she slowly faded away. Panicked, I called her, only to find out she was safe at work. That one sent shivers down my spine, let me tell you. So, there you have it. A glimpse into my world of dreams and spirits. This story dates back to when I was around 9 years old, hanging out with my cousin Jennifer, who was a bit older than me. I was always in awe of her, so when I asked my dad if I could stay over at her place and he agreed, I was over the moon. The evening started off great. We played video games, indulged in snacks, and had fun outdoors like any typical kids. But as night fell and we settled into bed, something strange happened. I heard an eerie noise, a blend of a low growl and a faint laugh. It gave me chills, but I tried to dismiss it and drifted off to sleep. Suddenly, I awoke in the dead of night, the clock mocking me with its glaring 3 a.m. display. Unaware of the spookiness often associated with this hour, I remained awake in bed until I felt an unsettling tug on my leg. Panic surged through me, but I called out to Jennifer, hoping for comfort. Miraculously, the pulling ceased as soon as she woke up. I recounted the bizarre experience to her, but she remained skeptical. Yet moments later, we both witnessed surreal figures soaring through the air. It was a chilling moment, yet strangely, I wasn't as frightened as one might expect. You see, I've always felt a connection to the supernatural, even at that young age. Fast forward to my teenage years, and I've embraced my affinity for the occult. I'm a witch now. This encounter was just one of many I've had over the years. Another spine-tingling incident occurred when I returned to that same house at age 12, accompanied by Jennifer and her siblings. In the middle of the day, the atmosphere turned icy cold, sending shivers down our spines. With my clairvoyant senses on high alert, I recorded the chilling silence on my phone, only to hear a faint voice whispering, "Leave." As if that wasn't unsettling enough, my cousin Paul's behavior took a sinister turn. He acted out of character, his demeanor sending shivers down our spines. He even grabbed a knife, his smile taking on a disturbing edge. Thankfully, he snapped out of it before anyone got hurt, but the experience left us shaken. In another instance, captured on video when I wasn't present, the washing machine in the basement mysteriously floated in mid-air, accompanied by a foreboding red orb. It was clear that something malevolent lurked within those walls. That house was a hotbed of paranormal activity, opening my eyes to the spiritual realm in ways I never imagined. While my current home also has its share of ghostly whispers, I've come to discern between benign and malevolent energies. Despite the eerie encounters, I've embraced my sensitivity to the supernatural, finding solace in the knowledge that not all spirits are out to harm us.